Welcome to the Hockey Writers Union Junction, a weekly show from our Columbus Blue Jackets insider, Mark Scheig, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, game results, and much more. From training camp to the playoffs, from draft day to the trade deadline, he covers everything that happens with the Jackets. So get ready. It's time for another get-together at Union Junction.
All right, Thursday, October 28th, 2021. Mark and Cody with you. Nick has the week off. I've got a good show for you here over the next 30 minutes. We're going to spend the first 15 minutes kind of talking about some of the big storylines around the Blue Jackets. We'll look at some takeaways from the last couple games. We'll look ahead for you. We'll talk about some goaltending. And then we have a guest for the second half of our show, our very own New Jersey Devils writer Kristy Flannery is going to join us. The Blue Jackets do play the Devils on Sunday evening, so we might as well get a view from the other side. So that's coming up for you. We very much appreciate you taking the time to join us. Remember, you can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on all your favorite podcasting formats, whatever your preference is, audio, video. We got you covered here. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and you'll never miss any of these episodes. So, Cody, let's just jump right into this thing. I mean, I think the first thing we have to start talking about here is Elvis Merzlikins. I mean, besides the fact that he's 4-0, besides the fact that he's been one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League to start out this year, he probably made perhaps the biggest stop before the game, coming out of the tunnel. What he admitted post-game that a Dallas Stars fan heckled him, and allegedly talking about don't light a firework, whatever the quote ended up being. The team and Nationwide Arena are trying to investigate this, but just talk about Merzlikins, considering everything he's been through, to be able to have the start that he's got, and then to have to deflect, hecklers like that, and then to go out and play against Dallas and have the performance of his life. Just what do you make of him so far?
It's honestly been incredible, Mark. He did what a very professional athlete would do against the heckler that just says terrible things. He goes out and he performs on the ice, and that's how he answers that fan. Overall, he's been incredible. His goal allowed average is nearly one less goal off of his career average. His save percentage is nearly 3 points higher than his career average right now. It is early, but arguably he's off to one of the best 4-game starts for a Blue Jackets goaltender ever. And I think he is definitely getting some early attention.
And he deserves it, Cody. I mean, yeah, you mentioned the record. You mentioned the goals against average, the save percentage in the 950. It was 952 when I saw it. Ironically, Sergey Bobrowski of all players is doing just as well, or maybe even a little bit better to start the year. But it just goes to show you what he's doing. That's the reason why the Blue Jackets are 4-2 at this point. The 4 games that he started, he's gotten some good goal support. He's won and is just playing the lights out. And I think the thing that really sticks out for me in watching him, he's anticipating plays so well in the early going. I remember there was a particular play in the Dallas game on Monday where he read the play. The puck was out in front. The Dallas player was about to come, and he anticipated and was already there ready for the poke check. Like, he's thinking the game 1 to 2 steps ahead, and that just bodes really well. And you combine that with how motivated he is to be able to play for his friend Matisse Kivlenieks and everything else that's going on. When I said in the preseason that he could get some Vezina votes, he continued. I don't think he's going to play 950 the entire year, but I'm starting to think that he could really make an impression. 925, maybe even 930, especially if the defense continues to improve in front of him. Just, Cody, what do you feel like his ceiling is this season?
I think we're definitely going to see a lot of shutouts. I think we're going to look back at that, his first season with the Blue Jackets, where he went on that incredible shutout streak. I think he has the capability to do that again. He almost had his first shutout the other night, minus a odd play where the puck came off the backboards and found a star, and he sank it.
Or Sagan. Yep.
Yep. Just an
Yeah.
odd play. Like you said, I don't think he is going to be, he's not going to be at 952 the whole season. That will go down some.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think we're looking at a career season for him. I think he could have a save percentage somewhere in the 930s. I think he will. I think if he keeps playing this way, he could stay under a goal allowed average of under 250, 2.5. But I don't think he will. I think it'll be. What am I trying to say here? I guess I'm trying to say it'll be right around the 2.5 range on his goals allowed average. But I think it'll be a solid career year for him.
Well, he's getting more used to the league, Cody. And I do think that, he's primed and ready to kind of take that next step as to being a true elite number one. That's why the Blue Jackets signed him. They believe in the talent. And I think he's just starting to come into his own a little bit. Now, do have to address something here is, we do pay attention to social media. There seems to be a segment of the Columbus Blue Jackets fan base that's got some ire at Jonas Korpisalo, the other goaltender. He started 2 games. He's lost both of them. But, man, take a close look. He shut out the Detroit Red Wings for 2 periods before a perfect shot beat him, and he got no offensive support, for one. And then in the other start, you're playing against one of the best teams in the NHL in the Carolina Hurricanes, and they had 3 power play goals. So I'm not entirely sure what we're expecting here. You take a look at some of the underneath the underlying numbers with him. He's actually saving more goals than what's to be expected. So he's actually off to a good start. He just doesn't have the record. What do you make of Korpisalo to this point?
I think he's been incredible too. He just hasn't got as much goal support as Merzlikins. And as far as the whole that segment of the Blue Jackets,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw this. I tweeted this the other day because this was the best comparison I could think of. Ohio State has 3 great running backs. People prefer one over the rest of them, but it's odd to almost openly root against the other ones having success, because that when they're having success, the team continues to have success. I don't understand where this is really coming from. I think Korpisalo has been excellent. Obviously, he doesn't have the numbers as Merzlikins, but I think you can look back to who's getting more goal support.
Well, if I recall correctly, it was 1 goal in the Detroit game, 4-1, and 1 goal in the Carolina game, 5-1. Yeah, 1 goal support a game.
And for whatever reason, the Blue Jackets just don't seem as active on offense when he's in the net. I have no idea what that is, but that's just my observation so far this season.
Well, I'll wrap this part up with this. Detroit's a better team now. Some of the young guys, especially Lucas Freeman and others, are ready to take the next step, and they've already proven that they're better than what they've been before. Now, that's maybe not as bad of a loss as what a lot of people thought. Again, that was the Blue Jackets were completely dominated in that game, and Korpisalo kept it 0-0 after 2 periods. So let's not forget about that. And we know Carolina's a cup contender. So yeah, Jonas Korpisalo is on this team until otherwise told. He's going to have a big part in this team because Merzlikins can't play every game. As long as he's on the team, they're going to do everything together, and he's got a contract to play for. So maybe let's tone down the ire on Korpisalo some. He's still very much a huge part of this Columbus Blue Jackets team. So, Cody, I want to actually now talk real quick about an article that you just wrote on the Hockey Writers that I think may have drew the attention of a certain amount of fans. You talked about the power play, and you noticed that while it was improved, you noticed that some metrics were maybe not where you thought that they would be. Just kind of fill everybody in on what you wrote about and what you saw there.
Okay, before I start, I want to start with a little bit of a disclaimer. Do not label me as the sky is falling guy on the power play. I understand that it's very early on still, but there are some alarming things I have seen when you really dig into the metrics of the power play that are not sustainable for a decent power play. One of those biggest things is when you look at how many shots the Blue Jackets are getting on the net during the power play, their Fenwick 4 percentage, which if you don't know what that means, it just means that's the percentage of all unblocked shot attempts they're getting in the game. That's at 75.61. They're only getting, that is not very good for a power play. To compare that, last year, it was, let me find it here because I don't just, believe it or not, I'm not that big of a nerd to keep all the stats in front of me. It was 81.78%. And when we're talking about how bad the power play was last year, we're looking at stats worse than that. Now, it's not all negative. They're drawing more penalties. They're spending more time on the power play. And of course, they have converted and got more puck luck. But overall, the article is just saying, if they don't improve some of these metrics, the power play it's probably going to end up worse than last season. And it's just not sustainable to keep it at 33.3%. Now, do I think they have plenty of time to fix it? Yes. Do I think they will improve it? Yes. But that's just my observation so far this season.
Well, Cody, it's interesting. It is a small sample size. I know that is mentioned in there. I think this is a good example of kind of comparing the eye test versus what some of the numbers say, because from the eye test, you have a new player in Jacob Voracek, who is a known playmaker and one of the better 5-on-5 passers out there. You're adding him. You have Line and Bjorkstrand, Boone Jenner up front, having an amazing season at the start, especially on the power play and at the net front, and Werenski. So it just seems like that the unit itself looks like that it's improved. And, this is where some of the numbers say, okay, well, some of the numbers are off, but they're still, they're converting, some goals at 33.3%. You're right. They're not going to keep it at 33.3 probably for the whole year, but as they get more acclimated with each other and they play more games, it's reasonable to expect that some of that will go up as they play more together. They always talk about chemistry being a funny thing, but I think it's a timely article that you wrote because it does give some perspective about, how is it really doing and things like that. So I think it was very well done on your part.
And I plan on revisiting the topic at the midpoint and the end of the season.
Yeah, no, that's good because that gives everybody a reference point to say, okay, how much did it improve or how much did it decline in a certain period of time? So if you do it a quarter season, a half season, yeah, it's perfect. It's good for reference points. That's for sure. So let's talk one more thing here before we get into our guest. And, let's kind of start to look ahead a little bit because the Blue Jackets do have a couple of games here. Friday at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers, and then Sunday at Prudential Center against the New Jersey Devils. And we're going to have Kristy Flannery talking about the Devils in a little bit here. But just real quick, Cody, give me like one or two things that you're going to be watching for in these next couple of games on the road. And then also they play Colorado next week as well on the road.
Well, the biggest thing I'm going to be looking at is their overall energy because they looked great against the Islanders, Metro opponent. And then they did not look good at all against the Hurricanes, which, again, is it that they played bad or are the Hurricanes just that much better than where the Blue Jackets are right now? But those are both Metro opponents because I kind of want to see the energy they bring against them. And, of course, when you think of the Rangers, you think of Artemi Panarin and points and goals. And I'm going to be interested to see how the defense holds up because defense has been a lot better so far this season than I was expecting.
Now, real quick, I'll touch on each of the teams. The Rangers, they've gotten tougher. Obviously Ryan Reeves is there, Sammy Blais there. But then, you mentioned Panarin, off to a little bit of a slow start for his standards this year. Alexis Lafreniere is still there. Mika Zibanejad, owner of a new contract. A lot of weapons on that team. Igor Shesterkin. I can't wait to see if Bjorkstrand can beat him again because remember the last time they played at Madison Square Garden, Bjorkstrand had Shesterkin's number, so that'll be something to watch for. And then the Devils on Sunday, Metro. Both these are going to be Metro opponents, and the first time seeing them in a while. I feel like the Devils are vastly improved. First look at Dougie Hamilton in that jersey, and a new and improved Jack Hughes as well. So definitely watched a lot to look for here, and let's see if they can keep up that energy like Cody said. So definitely a lot to look forward to there. We do have an Ask Us Anything question before we wrap up segment 1 here. And William SB, we very much appreciate the question at William_SB. And Cody, the question is this. He asked, do you think they should take extra time with Max Domi recovering from this injury, considering how quickly he was injured again? Now it says, albeit in an unrelated injury, after his early return. Do you feel like that they should rush him back or not? What say you?
I don't say they should rush him, but if he feels like he's ready, I say let him come back. Because with a fractured rib, from my understanding, it's normally all about pain management, unless they find something structurally wrong. Which clearly, if they're letting him skate and take part in contact drills, as reported yesterday, I doubt there was any structural damage. So it's up to him at this point. If he feels like he can handle the pain and he's able to go, then I think they should let him go.
I basically agree with you, Cody. William, I feel like that they should they're at the point of the season now where if an extra game or 2 off would be helpful from a pain standpoint, this is the time to do it. They're off to a 4-2 start. I know that they could definitely use him back in the lineup. As Cody said, it's about how much they can tolerate. So if he's ready to go, great. But, they can afford to be cautious if necessary, and they'll make the right decision on him. All right, that wraps up part 1. Stay tuned. Part 2 coming up here. Our Kristy Flannery is about to join us to talk New Jersey Devils hockey. Stay tuned. All righty, you have reached part 2 of Union Junction. We greatly appreciate you sticking with us. Mark and Cody back with you with our Kristy Flannery, our New Jersey Devils credentialed writer for the season. Hello, Kristy. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, really appreciate it. Blue Jackets are going to be playing the Devils on Sunday. I figure this would be a great time to bring you on board here. But I guess I want to start out with you. You had a really neat thing happen where there was an article about Blake Coleman. He recently went back as a member of the Calgary Flames to Prudential Center. And there was an article that you came up with, and something special happened. So kind of lay out for us what exactly happened here.
The Devils put together a tribute video for Blake Coleman. He's the only player this season that's come back that actually warranted a tribute video. And when I was watching it in the first 10 seconds, the article that I wrote, I tweeted it out and the hockey writers tweeted it out. And Coleman retweeted it, basically saying that Devils fans will always have a special place in his and his family's heart. And the tweet that Blake Coleman had with my article attached to it was part of the tribute video.
That's pretty cool. I mean, and it's something, it's unexpected when you feel like that you're just doing, hey, in the moment, here's the article. Next thing you know, thanks to the power of social media and reach, not only does Coleman grab a hold of it, it ends up in the tribute video. And it's those moments that kind of, make us realize, how great of a job that it is that we have sometimes, right?
It's the best. It's the best. I wasn't expecting it. I had no idea. And it was just a moment of, oh my God, that's me. And so, made my day.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Cody.
Okay, so as you know, the Blue Jackets and Devils did not play last season. So they are normally familiar with each other. They won't be so much this time. Do you expect there to be a bit of a feeling out process to start the game between the two teams, or do you think they're going to jump right in it?
I would think from the Devils' perspective, they're going to jump right into it only because the starts have been an issue for them. And I feel like, over the next couple of practices, and they're playing Pittsburgh before they take on Columbus, Ruff is going to really hit home that they need to start their games fast, especially after going down 4-0 against the Calgary Flames. So I think it's going to at least try to be a quick start for the Devils.
Yeah, so I believe in that game, Nico Dawes got the start, got pulled, and talks about how they're starting. Is there anything that you're noticing as to why these starts are happening? Is it just as simple as the players aren't ready? Or what are you seeing so far there?
It's crazy because the first couple of games, they were off to really great starts. I mean, Dougie Hamilton got his first goal as a Devil in the first 17 seconds of his first game. And then there was kind of a shift where they're just starting really slow. You see the passing is off, and it's very resemblance of the old Devils from last season. So I don't really know if I have an answer of what's going on, but there's definitely a shift. And even though Dawes let in 3 or 4, I think he let in 3 goals before they pulled him, it wasn't his fault. that loss last night was not on the defenseman or the goaltenders. It was on everybody else.
Go, Cody.
So what are the keys for the Devils to beat the Blue Jackets on Sunday? What should Blue Jacket fans be expecting from them?
They should be expecting a fast start. They need to stay out. The Devils need to stay out of the penalty box. I think the penalty kill right now is, 28th in the league. That's not a strength at the moment. Their power play is okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. But basically, this is going to be a team that hopefully plays a very disciplined, quick game.
Kristy, and I think a lot of Blue Jackets fans are going to be curious because every time they think about some of the New York teams, they play the Rangers on Friday, they play the Devils on Sunday. They think about like the center depth. I know Zibanejad with the Rangers, and they think of Panarin. Well, Jack Hughes is somebody that obviously gets a lot of the attention with the Devils, and I think a lot of people in the hockey world are kind of expecting that jump. Are you seeing an early improvement from Jack to the point where he's starting to show maybe why he's going to be one of the star players in this league?
Yes. I mean, he is injured, and he only played, I think, in 2 games before that injury happened, but you did see an immediate improvement. He's getting bigger and he's getting stronger, which I think was a really big problem for him his rookie year, is he was easily pushed off the puck. You can't have him go up against like a Dougie Hamilton or Ryan Graves on the other side and think that he's going to hold on to the puck. So I think the biggest thing for him is just really just growing as just a person and just getting that weight.
And you mentioned the injury too. So what happened to him, and what is the latest on his status?
So he got hit against it was during the Seattle Kraken game. It's not a broken shoulder. It was a dislocated shoulder. He's rehabbing it. There is no timetable currently for his return, but Ruff says that he keeps getting better and better. So it's nothing too bad, nothing broken. And it wasn't even that bad of a hit. It was just the way he fell. It was a very awkward landing.
And that leads to the other center on the team that became the captain, Nico Hischier, somebody that is expected to take leaps and bounds, especially now wearing the C. Have you seen those leaps and bounds out of him? And is he kind of starting to kind of take the reins to be able to lead this team the way that, they expect him to?
I think I'm not questioning his ability as a leader. I think he is a little banged up to start the season from the first couple of games. So I don't think he's playing at 100% right now. So I wouldn't say that he's a player where I think his game's really popped like I would Jack Hughes at this point. But I do see improvement with him. I want to see him at 100% because I don't believe he is.
I'll talk about Ryan Graves for a second. Somebody that came in, they wanted to bolster that blue line. Hamilton was obviously the big name, but Graves is somebody that I thought was kind of a sneaky pickup that would really, really, help fortify the defense. Can you just talk to Blue Jacket fans, like how good? Where's this defense at to this point in the year in the early going in your mind?
So I actually asked Ruff about this after the Buffalo game. The defense is a work in progress right now. They're better than last year, but again, when you're at the bottom, there's really nowhere to go but up. But they're getting better. They're a lot stronger. It's just a matter of this defense is completely different than last year. And when I spoke to Ryan Graves a couple of weeks ago, he was saying that the system that Ruff has in New Jersey is very different than the system he's used to in Colorado. So you're going to expect that transition in the first couple games. I thought his first 3 great games were phenomenal. He had some really great, long stretch passes that led to goals. I really like him. I think he's a pleasant surprise. The Devils have been missing a stay-at-home defenseman for quite some time. It's just a matter of the defense just kind of jiving together. I think all the pressure is going to be on Dougie Hamilton, which I hope helps out PK Subban, that he's not in the spotlight anymore. He's playing a lesser role on the defense now. And I'm hoping that kind of he can find his game now that he's not feeling he has to carry the defense on his back.
How good is Ty Smith then, since we're talking about the defense?
I like Ty Smith. The only thing that really works against him is he's only 5'11", which is very small for the rest of the defense that we have right now. But I think he finished 7th in the Calder voting last year. I think he is the real deal. Again, he's only has played 2 games. He's coming back off of an injury, so there's a little rust with him. But I like him. I like where his game is. I like where it's going. I'm hoping that he doesn't have a sophomore slump, but I like him.
Couple more quick hitters for you about the Devils, and then we'll end with something cool.
Okay.
Pavel Zacha is somebody that's always kind of gotten the ire. He was taken very high in the McDavid draft. I think it was 7th overall, and then Werenski went 8th overall in that draft. I'm starting to notice him a little bit more from a distance. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yes, and the big thing with him was that we got Zacha and we could have had Matt Barzal. That's the big thing in New Jersey when it came to that draft. But he's a lot stronger this year. And he had a lot of self-awareness during media day. He said last year he didn't have the conditioning that he was supposed to have. So he said, I was exhausted by the time I was done killing a penalty or finishing a shift. So you can automatically see the conditioning and the strength is there this year that he did not have in the past. So I think he might be one of the players where it might have taken him a long time to get to where he should have been, like expected to be years ago. But I think he's going to be a leader on this team this year.
All right, one last quick hitter about the goaltending. I know Dawes was the goalie the other night. MacKenzie Blackwood, though, we're starting to see, he got the first vaccine. Is he back in the rotation? Just what's the overall state of the goaltending here?
I believe yesterday was his first day. He skated before practice and he was taking a couple shots. I don't think he's ready to return yet. I would say maybe within the next week or two, fingers crossed. But Ruff's not really saying too much except that, he's getting better. He's getting stronger. And I can't imagine his injury is his heel. And as a goaltender, you want to make sure that's fully ready to go. So his movement is there when he returns. So he's getting a lot closer. I'm glad that he got the first shot for the Pfizer. So that's we're going to start to get that behind him as well. Cause that was a really big storyline that he's such a quiet guy. I don't think he wanted the attention that he ended up getting because of that. So I think our goaltending will be fine. It's just getting all those bumps and bruises and kind of getting everything situated. Because Nico Dawes is a solid goaltender.
I know that from his days with the Guelph Storm. That's if he gets the help in front of him, he can be a really good one.
Yeah.
So Kristy, let's wrap this up here. There's really something really cool here that's been going on where you got to talk to Dawson Mercer and family as well. Just what all has happened there.
His family is just amazing. I was talking with his cousin Colette via Twitter. She actually helped me with one of my articles. And then they made it down to Prudential Center with Mercer's parents. So I ended up meeting them at one of the games at intermission. They're lovely. I can't even lovely is the only word. They were with me for 2 minutes and I felt like I was part of the family. I was seeing pictures. They were showing me the humpback whales outside of their bedroom window. I got invited on a cod fishing trip. Yep. They are absolutely amazing people. And it makes you love Dawson even more because you see where he comes from. And he's just a humble, really nice kid.
And someone who's going to be a terror in the Metro for years to come, given the kind of game that he plays. And Blue Jackets fans, that's somebody you will definitely want to be watching for, especially in key situations. Kristy, this is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Union Junction, helping us get ready for Blue Jackets and Devils on Sunday night.
It should be a good one. Fingers crossed it's a good one.
Absolutely. Fans, thank you so much for joining. Next week at this time, we have a special guest. We're going to have another super fan on. It's going to be a little bit different than the last time when we had Lindsay on. You guys have seen this person out and about before, so we're honored that they're going to join us and they're going to have some great stories to share. So tune in next week. Until then, enjoy the games. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time here at Union Junction.